House Bill 2105. Chris, will you give us an overview, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, committee. House Bill 2105 designates a portion of United States Highway 77 and a bridge in Clay County as the POW MIA Memorial Highway and POW MIA Memorial Bridge. Section 1 is for the highway. It provides that the highway would be designated on the portion of US 77 beginning in Geary County from the junction of US 77 and I-70. Then we'll go north to the western junction of US 77 and K24 highway. And then it'll begin again on the from the eastern junction of US 77 and K24, then go north to K77's junction with K16. Then Section 2 provides that the POW MIA Memorial Bridge will be designated on bridge. There's a bridge number there. It's just to specify which bridge on K82 highway in Clay County that this bridge will be designated as. Again, the highway signs and bridge signs will not be placed until the requirements of KSA 68-10, 114 are met and provided. And the Secretary of Transportation has provided 100% for the cost of those signs and 50% extra for future maintenance and replacement. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for the reviser? Seeing none, thank you. If everybody will take an opportunity to review the fiscal note, as with all signs, they have to provide the upfront cost and then 50% in the future for maintenance. All right. First on the agenda, we have, as a proponent, we have Representative Lewis Bloom, District 54. Welcome to the committee, Representative.
Honored guests, veterans, community members, and committee members. It is a profound honor to stand before you today as we officially recognize and dedicate a lasting tribute to the brave men and women who have sacrificed so much for our country. Today, we gather to designate a portion of US Highway 77 and a bridge on K82 as a POW MIA Memorial Highway, and the bridge, a solemn and enduring reminder of those who served, those who were taken prisoner, and those who never returned home. This action is more than just a renaming of roads and bridges. It is a commitment by our community, our states, and our nation to never forget the sacrifices of our prisoners of war and those missing in action. These are not just names etched in history books. They are mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, and friends who answered the call of duty and paid the ultimate price for our freedom. The portion of US Highway 77 that we recognize today runs from Junction City with Interstate 70 north through Geary County to its junction with US Highway 24 in Riley County, and then further north to its junction with the K16 highway, a distance of around 41 miles. Along this route, thousands of travelers will see the signs designating it as a POW MIA Memorial Highway. Each time they do, they will be reminded of the courage, resilience, and sacrifice of those heroes. Additionally, we honor bridge number 82 on K82 highway in Clay County, now officially designated as the POW MIA Memorial Bridge. This bridge serves as both a physical and symbolic connection, linking generations together through a shared duty to remember those who are lost but never forgotten. I want to take a moment to dedicate the dedication of those who worked tirelessly to make this designation possible. From the local veterans organizations and community advocates to our state leaders and the Kansas Department of Transportation, your efforts ensure that the legacy of our POWs and MIAs live on. To the family of those who have been affected, we recognize your pain, your strength, and your resilience. This highway and bridge stands in honor of all your loved ones, ensuring that their sacrifice is never forgotten and their memory is forever embedded in the fabric of our state and nation. As we unveil these designations today, let us commit ourselves to honoring our prisoners of war and those missing in action, not just with words, but with action, by supporting veterans, advocating for those still unaccounted for, and ensure that we may always uphold the values they fought to protect. May this highway serve as a reminder of their journey, their sacrifice, and our promise to never forget. May this bridge stand as a symbol of hope, connection, as remembrance. Thank you, and may we always honor those who served and sacrificed for our great nation.
Thank you, Representative Bloom. Does anybody have any questions for the representative? Seeing none. We'll move on. The next proponent is Glenn Nelson Jr., retired Army National Guard and active Army. Welcome to the committee, Glenn.
Mr. Chairman, committee members, Kansas veterans, POW, MIA family members, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Glenn Nelson Jr., I'm a retiree with 24 years of service with National Guard and active Army. I'm a lifetime member of the VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the Disabled American Veterans. As a Kansas VFW Post 7774, POW MIA chairman, my research and study regarding POW MIA is ongoing. I have listened to some MIA family members in person to learn what they experienced. After all this, I'm not an expert, and I cannot fully understand what it was like to be a POW MIA family member. I am, however, an advocate who believes in remembering and honoring what they went through as missing in action, as well as physical, mental abuse, and even torture endured by POWs themselves and the hardships of families. I'm quite sure this committee is aware of Kansas' extensive list of memorial highways, bridges, including veterans groups, military units, distinguished officials, and troopers. I was very surprised when I learned that Kansas does not have a highway or bridge designated for all Kansas POW MIA, and I decided to do something about it. Many other states already have POW MIA memorial bridges, highways, and parkways. I have about 12 listed here. There are many more. There are many categories of POW MIA. In some cases, the service member was likely killed, but could not be recovered or identified from the chaos of war. In other cases, they were likely captured, but were not sent home after the war with other prisoners of war. Kansas issues ex-prisoner of war license plates, and KDOT informed me that only 15 of these were issued currently. I'm not going to share the stories of 1,179 who are still missing, unaccounted for from Kansas, but I am going to share 4 stories from POW MIA associated with Wakefield, Kansas. When I joined the VFW, I met a World War II veteran from Wakefield. Tech Sergeant Russell Nolan Jevons was a founding member of our VFW. He served in World War II as a flight engineer and top turret gunner in a B-17. What I didn't know until a long time later was his plane was shot down on his 3rd mission over France, with the nose shot out, 3 engines damaged. All crew members miraculously got out, but 7 of the 10 were captured. Tech Sergeant Jevons was one of a very small percentage who were shot down that were able to evade capture. Assisted by the French underground, he made his way over the mountains into Spain in the dead of winter and eventually made it back home to Wakefield, Kansas. He passed away and is buried in Highland Cemetery, Wakefield, Kansas. His son Keith, also a veteran, is with us today. And he has helped tell us what it's like for his family as a POW MIA family. Major Larry Eugene Martin is a Vietnam MIA listed from Wakefield, Kansas. He served as an electronic warfare officer flying missions called Wild Weasel missions in the Vietnam War. Witnesses saw only one parachute when his plane was shot down on July 15, 1968. While both men were initially listed as MIA, the pilot in his aircraft survived years as a POW and eventually made it home. Captain Martin did not survive the crash. His remains were not returned or identified until 1989, when he was finally able to be brought home and laid to rest in Highland Cemetery in Wakefield. When I tried to contact his family members, I was a couple weeks too late. His brother had passed just weeks before I got involved in this, so I was not able to share with his story. First Lieutenant William George Alsop was a co-pilot in World War II. His plane left China on a return flight over the hump, the Himalayan mountains between India and China, in January 26, 1943. Neither his plane nor his crew were ever found, and he is declared dead but has never been recovered or brought home. I read just a few days ago that the DPAA, the Defense Prisoner of War MIA Accounting Agency, performed 2 missions in China in an attempt to recover POW MIAs just last year in 2024. And the final story I wanted to tell you about was Seaman Turk. He served in World War II above battleship USS California, which was attacked in Pearl Harbor December 7th, 1941. It was sunk, and he was not among the survivors that could be positively identified, and so he was listed MIA until 2021. His family member from Wakefield, Kansas, Carmen Ickes, was a surviving family member, and she had his remains brought home to be laid to rest to Manhattan, Kansas Cemetery. So these are only 4 stories. 1,179 remaining unaccounted for from Kansas. Honorstates.org lists 179 POW and 1,402 MIA from Kansas. That would be World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. According to the DPAA, there are 1,179 still missing or unaccounted for. All of them have stories. Far too many family members have already passed away before this action to designate a POW MIA Memorial Bridge and Highway. It is long overdue, and it's the right thing to do. I encourage your support to pass this, and I know that the method of funding these is what it is, but I would also ask that Kansas consider waive the funding requirements and pay for the signs for this highway. Thank you again for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for sharing the stories of these brave Kansans and reminding us of the sacrifices people across the state have made. Do we have any questions for Mr. Nelson? Seeing none, thank you very much. The committee will please notice that we have 2 written proponents. Mike Kelly, the state legislative lead for the Kansas Council Chapters of Military Officers Association of America, and Jim Deister, BVA, Kansas State Council POW/MIA Chair. Is there any other proponents in the audience? Seeing none, is there any neutral testimony? Any opponent testimony? Excuse me, sir. Yeah? Would you like to address the committee? Sure. And state your name and who you're with.
Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of Transportation, my name is Dan Watkins, and I am currently the Department of Kansas District 4 POW MIA Chair. And Mr. Nelson didn't tell my story. My brother was MIA in Cambodia in 1972, or so the paperwork said, because he did not admit it. POW MIA is very special to me. Coming from Manhattan, for those of you that don't know, Manhattan, Kansas and Riley County, Kansas were the first 2 in the state of Kansas that are nationally recognized by the POW MIA Museum in Jefferson Barracks, Missouri. Huge thing. It's really simple. Salina was second. Wakefield was third. This is a small project. I understand funding. I understand all of this. And I have one more thing before I leave. How many of you are veterans in here? Okay. How many of you have a family member or friend of a family member or somebody that was a POW or MIA? Thank you for your time. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that would like to give testimony today? All right. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the hearing on House Bill 2105. Next on the agenda, we have House Bill 2124, designating a portion of the United States Highway 160 as a Corporal Monty Wayne Forrest Memorial Highway. Chris, could you give us an overview?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee House Bill 2124 designates a portion of United States Highway 160 as the Corporal Monty Wayne Forrest Memorial Highway. This highway will be located on US 160 from the eastern city limits of Argonia, then we'll go east on US 160 to its junction with Eden Road. Again, the requirements of KSA 68-10, 114 have to be met before the secretary will place the signs. Happy to stand for any questions.
Anybody have any questions for the reviser? All right, seeing none. Please, as you review your documentation, note the fiscal note that's attached to this. And with that, the first proponent that we have today is Representative Kyle Hoffman. Welcome to the committee, Assistant Majority Leader.
Hello there, how you doing? I think this is maybe the second time I've ever been to the Transportation Committee, so it's good to be here.
Haven't lived, have you?
I haven't lived, I guess, yeah, no. No, and Representative Helgerson can't ask me any questions, so. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the opportunity to say a few words about this bill and about Corporal Monty Wayne Forrest. Corporal Forrest died in August of 5th, 1970, just barely a year before I was born. So, you know, I didn't know him, and I just recently met his family, but it is my pleasure and my honor to pay tribute to a true American hero. Corporal Forrest gave his life in the service of our nation during during the Vietnam War, sorry. It is with great respect and gratitude that I advocate for House Bill 2124, which would designate a 1.5 mile section of Highway 160 between mile marker 275 and Eden Road as the Corporal Monty Wayne Forrest Memorial Highway. Corporal Forrest, as I said, died on August 5th, 1970 during an intense firefight near Kham Duc. Monty demonstrated the very essence of heroism. Despite suffering multiple wounds, he refused to abandon his post and continued to fire illumination rounds, exposing the enemy's position and providing crucial support to his fellow soldiers. His actions allowed his unit to successfully repel the enemy forces, but tragically, Monty lost his life that day. For his extraordinary bravery, Corporal Forrest was posthumously awarded the Silver Star Medal for Valor, a recognition of the selfless courage he demonstrated in the heat of battle. His name is etched in the annals of history as a testament to the sacrifices made by so many who served in Vietnam and other wars throughout the United States Armed Forces. Monty's legacy extends far beyond his heroic actions in Vietnam. He was a beloved son, friend, and neighbor, cherished by his family and community in Argonia, Kansas. The dedication of this part of the highway runs just right by the Argonia Cemetery, where Corporal Forrest is laid to rest, and near his family farm, which will serve a lasting tribute to his memory. His service and ultimate sacrifice reminds us of the profound cost of freedoms we hold dear. As we approach the anniversary of his passing, it is only fitting that we honor him in this way that ensures future generations will remember his courage, commitment, and sacrifice. This highway designation is not just for Corporal Monty Wayne Forrest, but for every service member who gave his life in the defense of this nation. It is an opportunity for us to reflect on the sacrifices made by our military, to recognize the invaluable contributions of our veterans, and to ensure that the legacy of heroes like Monty is never forgotten. So I respectfully urge you to approve this proposal to honor Corporal Monty Wayne Forrest and to ensure that his story is lives on in the hearts of future generations. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you for your testimony, Representative Hoffman. Does anybody have any questions for Representative Hoffman? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have Rich Forrest, a relative of Monty Forrest. Welcome to the committee, Rich.
Thank you. And members of the committee for getting us to the point we're at now. I would also like to thank Senator Larry Alley and Representative Kyle Hoffman for their guidance through this process. Monty Forrest was a representation of the unsung heroes of the Midwest who loved their country and gave the ultimate sacrifice for it. Monty's uncle served in the Navy, while Monty and his brother Marlon served in the Army. On August 5th, 1970, Monty manned a howitzer and was able to fire illumination rounds so American troops could better see the enemy. He was shot off the howitzer by enemy fire, but managed to reman it and continued to fire illumination rounds. He was knocked off the howitzer a second time, but once again, remanned his gun and continued to try and illuminate the area. For his heroic actions and bravery, Monty was posthumously awarded the Silver Star Medal of Valor and the Purple Heart. This roadway not only will honor Monty, but will hopefully remind Kansans that drive on it of the many sacrifices of the brave men and women of our nation have made to keep our country great. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, sir. Does anybody have any questions for the conferee? Any comments? I would just to say thank you for the sacrifices that your family's made to our nation. Oh, yes. Would you like to explain to everybody real quickly what that is and state your name? And
Delma Gerberdane, and I'm a friend of Monty's. And I'd like everybody.
all right, thanks very much. All right, committee. That concludes our business today. I'm trying to look real quickly to see what we got coming up. Tomorrow, excuse me. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to have a real interesting hearing on House Bill 2121, increasing the annual license fees for electric and hybrid passenger vehicles. So, get up to speed on that. And then on February 6th, which is Thursday, we're going to have an informational hearing from the Kansas Motor Carriers Association. Is there any further business for the committee? If not, we're adjourned.